በገጠርም ከተማም ሁላ የምትገኝበት ማውረኛ ቁም ነገረኛ ለሷ ማስመስላ የምትሰራበት ማውረኛ እና አዲሱን ገልበታ የምታወራበት ማውረኛ ቁኝ የቅርቡን አቅርባ የምታወጋበት ማውረኛ ማውረኛ
So I'm speaking today with Dege Feder. Dege is a multidisciplinary Ethiopian-born artist based in Israel. She is the choreographer and manager of the Better Dance Company, I believe. She's a musician and a visual artist. Now, Dege combines uniquely the motifs of traditional Ethiopian dance with modern and Israeli dance. So welcome, Dege, to this interview for the Israel Connection.
Thank you for having me here.
Dege, please, let's go to the beginning. When you were only a young child in Ethiopia, tell us about your background and how you came through Operation Moses to eventually get to the Promised Land.
I was born in a small village in Ethiopia. The village was in the middle of the nature, in the middle of the mountain. Everything was green and beautiful. And I was a part of the nature. And I remember since I was a child, very young, the parents or grandparents used to tell us about Jerusalem, Israel, that it's our dream to come to Israel, our home. And it was, I remember, big, huge dream to come to go to Israel. And for me, it was like to go to the moon. It's something impossible to do because we didn't know where is Jerusalem and we didn't know how to go to Jerusalem. If you want to visit even your relative, you need to walk. So we didn't have cars, in that time until it's come true. It was very, very, very a dream. Years, it's, past generation after generation, this dream. I came to Israel when I was about 8 years old. And I walked from Ethiopia to Sudan. Actually, I came to Israel without my family. I met them only in Israel because we separate by accident. In that time, you couldn't leave Ethiopia to Israel, even to live to other countries because you became betrayed as a citizen of Ethiopia. So we needed to keep it as a secret, our mission to go to Israel. So some of the people knew that we are going to Israel and they told the police. So they arrest part of two my brothers and I was hiding by a woman. So I came with this woman to Israel.
So this is in which year did you come to Israel? When did you eventually arrive? This is 1980.
It was 85.
So,
yeah.
So when you arrived in Israel, you went, I understand, to live with your grandmother in a Merkaz Klita, an absorption center.
Yeah. I met my grandmothers in Sudan camp. I was there months, so they found me there. I came with them to Israel. So I lived with them in Be'er Sheva. And then after, I think 2 years, my family came to Israel. I was in Tzfat with my uncle and grandfather, and then mother also. And they told us that they are already in Israel.
So when you talk about your education, I suppose you went through a normal education as far as an Israeli in your younger years. You don't really talk much about that, I believe. You start with your education when you got to university, which is when dance really started to have an impact on you.
I don't know if it's was regular education because I studied in a boarding school before the university. I didn't go to any dance lesson or something, but I remember myself all the time dancing and singing and every chance that I had. And only when I was in University of Haifa, I start to dance with the Eskensta dance company with the Ruth Eschel. I hadn't background any dance field or music before that.
Yes, well, I'm talking today, and a lot of people who watch this program probably aren't aware that I also have a background in dance, and only when I got to university, and one day when I sat next to a couple of dancers in a lecture who told me to come along and try a dance class, did I first get involved. So it really only happened for me when I got to university that I started dancing. Of course, the earlier you begin as a dancer, as you know, the earlier you start dancing, the better in your life, because the body when you develop from the beginning, that's how you train yourself up best to become a dancer. But that's anyway. As long as we got started at some stage, that's the main thing. Now, at this stage in your career, you actually are involved in different forms of the arts, different facets of the arts. Your main work is in dance and choreography, I understand, but you also do things with the music and the visual arts. Do you want to give us an overall picture of what is the work that you now do?
It's very hard to do in the same time the three things because it's you need to feel different things to do music or visual arts or dance. It's a different mood. So it's all the time change. Sometimes I'm in music 100%, my energy, and sometimes I go to the dance, only dancing, and sometimes I paint. So it's depends in what feeling, in what situation I am in the present. But most of the time, you're right, I in the dance because I have the dance troupe and I have my solo dance, so I need to be focused in that more than anything else. I actually study in a university visual arts, creative arts, and education. And when I start to dance also in a university, for me it was perfect because I find myself part of the arts in that time because I didn't know before what I want to do in the future, what was my dream, because I didn't have anyone to follow in my family or someone, an idol to be like. So when I start to dance and paint, I mean felt it at home. It was part of me. The music and everything I do, it's kind of it's influence from my basic Ethiopian traditional. It's not, I'm not thinking what to do, I just do. And when the piece come out, you see that it's combined between the modern art and the Ethiopian traditional art.
Yeah, so you kind of anticipated what I was going to ask you next when you just said that. I imagine that during COVID-19 and the problems we encountered mainly last year, as far as Israel is concerned, that maybe dancing wasn't so easy, and you were forced to concentrate on other things. Your company couldn't perform, I guess. It was difficult, wasn't it? Wasn't it for you?
Last year, you
Yeah.
mean? During the COVID?
Yes.
Yes, of course. It was very difficult. You know, in the beginning, when the COVID started, you know, everything stopped. It was like silence in everything. So for me was, wow, it's great. You can breathe, you can connect to yourself, you can see your life, your work from outside, and you can relax. You can, you know, be with your family, with your lovers, and you know, and then after a month, 2 months, it's become wow. It's, you know, it's become hard because it's a part of you. You can, you know, put it far away from you. So I started dancing at home. I mean, I had a very tiny living room, and I you know, tried to dance every day, but it's hard to dance and keeping dancing when you don't have a goal. I mean, to perform before or front of people, because you want share your dancing, your art. It's was not easy because all the time I need to, you know, convince myself you have to, you know, keep dancing, keep living, keep breathing, keep. You couldn't. It's hard to stop, and it's also hard to continue the activities. And this time also, last year I was in USA, and the group was in Israel, of course. So sometimes they rehearsal, and I used to be with them with Zoom, sometimes with the WhatsApp, with the video, and tell them what to do. It's very hard because you cannot show what do you want, and it's very hard to do it from distance. And I had a date of performing, so sometimes they didn't meet 2 months, and they forget everything that we do during the rehearsals. It was, you know, a struggle to be in distance, and you don't, and they cannot meet each other, and everything was so mess and difficult because I have a date to perform, to do premiere, so it was not easy.
I noticed that you did one piece last year, which you put up on YouTube, which is
Yeah.
in black and white, which is a solo that you did during this time.
Yeah, very short one with the piano, you mean? Yeah, if you mean to this one, it was a kind of a improvisation dialogue with the piano. I didn't work with piano before, and so I, you know, put the piano and try to listen, and the same time to move like the piano talk with through my body. I listen to any pitch, any, you know, beat, everything. You know, when you touch your piano, it's like you touch my body. I move my feet with the piano. It was very fun to do it.
So with you describing that your work is driven very much by your origins or identity as an Ethiopian, you've been influenced though by many other artists, I guess, and modes of expression over time from outside your own community. What what do you feel? Do you feel as though your work now is mainly Ethiopian, or do you think that these other influences have changed you into a different kind of artist?
Yeah, in the beginning was very, very close to the Ethiopian traditional dance. I was kind of research the Ethiopian dance and my identity and my roots. It was very important for me because I didn't find myself. I didn't felt complete, kind of. A little bit stranger in Israel, So I was kind of want to know who I am through the music, through the dancing. So I even go to Ethiopia to learn about the Ethiopian dance, and I research a lot about it, the tribe dance and everything. It was very natural to do the Ethiopian dance, but influence my dance or the contemporary dance. But after years, it's become now change because I change. I feel very complete as a human, as an artist. So now I see the art more like something as a, I don't know how to say, but the art himself. Not, I'm not. It's important to me the visual, how it's look, the movements, the language, and I'm not doing with my story. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making the dance through my story. I do the dance as a dance.
It's more abstract than personal.
Yeah. So it's very different now, but you can see that it's not totally out of the traditional dance, because it's part of me, the Ethiopian roots. So you can find in some movements that you see the shoulders sometimes, you can see the neck sometimes moving. this in better the company dance, I have Ethiopian dancers and non-Ethiopian dancers. So the girls that they are not Ethiopian, they also have the feeling of the Ethiopian dance, because I teach them, and they with me, a couple years, so they have it. So they do the movements of Ethiopian dance in the pieces that I create.
So when you're teaching your students, especially students who are new and not of an Ethiopian background, do you teach especially this form of eskesta, this shoulder dancing technique? You do classes especially in this form. Would that be right?
Yeah. They have to know the basic, because it's a different feeling, it's a different vibe, it's a different feel of the rhythm, feel your body and the breathe you do when you dance. I use also a lot of sound of breathing, or to feel your movements. So I teach them the basic, and it's not easy, because it's not the Ethiopian movements. They are not, only technique or physically. The movements come from your soul, from your breathing. You need to feel the rhythm. It's the music and the dance. It's like one. It's not, you cannot dance on the music. You dance with the music. So it's hard to feel it when you didn't born to this thing. You feel music in other places. So I need to connect them to the feeling of this rhythm.
When I asked you a short while ago about other artists or other modes of expression in art that have affected you, have you got any influences you can mention? I know you've trained in the United States, in the Western world. Have you been influenced other people that had a big impact upon the work you do?
My influence, mostly it's Ruth Eschel. I learned from Ruth Eschel a lot of things. All of us, when we start this group, the Skesta dance troupe in university, we hadn't any basic of dance. We, came without any technique of dancing, but she knew how to take from natural movements, from organic movements to the stage, to bring it to the stage. And it was very important, that dancing, it's not only physical, it's not only body, it's also a soul, a spirits. You need to bring yourself, your feeling and everything through the dance.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the 1, 2, תמשכו אחרוני. Wait, freeze. לשוות את כל העבודה הקשה, כמה שניות אושר, והרבה עבודה קשה, והרבה תסכולים ואכזבות. אבל יש כמה רגעי אושר.
You can do very small movements, very tiny movements with a lot of feeling, with a lot of attention, and it can, touch the people you are, you can move people, you can move people feelings, I mean. So I learned from her. I don't have any contemporary or modern dancing technique. I didn't learn before. But, and I don't feel that I'm missing that, because I use in different things.
Yeah, I noticed when I watched this video that Ruth Eschel made about Eskesta, the shoulder dancing There's a video she's made, which is about 50 odd minutes long. She talks about how she brings the dancers together, and the dancers, she doesn't really control the dancers. She just simply gives them an opportunity to express themselves.
Exactly.
She doesn't tell them, what to do like a dance teacher normally would. She just lets them, gives them a way of expressing what they have. Gives them a chance to give that to other people. It's quite extraordinary the talent that she had to bring that out of people.
Yeah, and it's like she used to tell us, tell the story with your body, with your spirits. Tell. And it's. I remember when I was kind of started. She told me, imagine that you are old tree, very old tree, ancient tree, trying to walk. In the beginning, it was very hard for me and challenging. How can I do old tree starting to walk? And and I started like it's not exactly meditate, but I feel in that time, being the tree himself, being old with a lot of and I try to walk, and I was at really, it was very fascinating, and I did it, and she was very happy to see it, that I succeed, and it was wow, I can make a thing to be alive with my body. It's very great to do it. This
This form of exercise, yes, very meaningful. Please tell us how much support or how important is it for the Ethiopian community in Israel, of the work you do as Better Israel? Does the general community feel a strong connection with Better Israel and other Ethiopian groups that express Ethiopian art in some way or another?
What I'm doing, it's a very different, a new language of dancing, and a couple of times when the Ethiopian people and the Ethiopian audience saw the dancing, they are not understand it very immediately. They said, hey, this is not the Ethiopian dance, and it's very hard for them to understand. But when they do understand the story that I'm telling, and behind the movement, behind the creation, I mean the piece, they really, really very happy. I remember one time my dancer parents come to see in the first time the piece, and they come and tell me, hey, you do this and this and then this, you telling this and this and this, and I was in shock. How she know, how she felt what I'm trying to say only through the dancing? It was very surprising for me. And so I understand that the old people, the Ethiopian old people, they can understand more than young kids or teenagers, because for teenagers it's very hard for them, because it's not a popular dance, it's not a hip hop dancing or or pop dancing, it's something else. So it's very hard for them to understand. So it's actually it's interesting how they react. But as a face of the we are a face of the the Ethiopian community here in Israel of arts, and we are well known in Israel, and also in some places from out of Israel. So it's a kind of proud for them, and also the young, that they grew here in Israel and they had education, and they can understand that more, and they relate to it more than the kids, the Ethiopian kids. It's make me happy because it's a place of the beta dance. It's kind of a home for Ethiopian dancers, and I'm hoping that young people will dream uh, being a dancer or being a part of the beta dance. And but it's not easy because most of them want to be part of the a big community. They want to learn, as I said, popular dance because they want to feel belonging. And what we're doing, it's a art dance. It's different. So I'm dreaming they will want to be a dancer, modern dancing or contemporary dancer.
Tureni kulu apingai, tureni kulu mai. Kamu tene iju katago nagame, iju kalame, iju kalautia magipu. Iju kalame, iju kalautia magipu. Tureni kulu apingai, tureni kulu mai. Kabutine iju katago nagame, iju kalame, iju kalagutia maipu.
Do you feel as though the younger generation that's being born today still feels strongly linked to their Ethiopian roots? Do you still feel that strong connection even now in Israel?
Yeah, it's surprising. I teach a lot of Ethiopian dance, Ethiopian kids, Ethiopian dance, and I felt that they more connected to Ethiopian traditional dance and hip hop dancing and everything, but not contemporary dance. So it's very, very, I'm happy that they are feeling comfortable to do the Ethiopian dance, because I remember myself as a younger, I was kind of ashamed in Ethiopian traditional or roots, because I wanted to feel a part of the community, the Israeli community, and I didn't felt that. So I tried to run away from the Ethiopian traditional, food, language. I didn't want to speak Amharic. I didn't want to eat the Ethiopian food, because I thought maybe if I will not part of this, will feel more accepted. Very late, I understand that it's not working. You need to be connected to yourself, who you are, your roots, and be proud, because it's part of you. It's you. I mean, and you are perfect as you are, and everyone is perfect as he is. So when I started the dance, the Ethiopian dance, I mean the Skesta dance in university, I understand that. I understand and learn from the dance that I need to be connecting to my roots. And since then, I feel, very proud and very happy. And this is the reason also I decided to teach the Ethiopian kids or young kids the Ethiopian traditional dance. But, when I started, I remember a group of 12 girls. They were 10 years old, And I came to this group and I told them, I'm going to teach you the Ethiopian dance. And they said, no, 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 no. We don't want Ethiopian dance. We want a hip hop dancing or, a modern dancing. And I said, no, no, I'm going to teach you the Ethiopian dance. So I remember in the beginning, it was very difficult for them. It was very difficult for me because they couldn't even move. They couldn't hear the music. And after couple, meeting with them, they, try to release themselves and then learn. And then they, start to perform in front of their family, from the community, and they get a lot of positive reaction, and they start, to be more open and happy, and then they start, dancing with happiness. But since then, it was I think 2005. But since then, you can see a lot of young Ethiopian kids. They want to dance or the Ethiopian traditional dance. It's very make me happy,
Tell him, Barai.
Go back to 2001, there was a thing called the Ethiopian National Project was established, and you're certainly playing a very important part in that. This project was developed through the Israeli government. It works to ensure the full and successful integration of Ethiopian Israelis into Israeli society in a unique and special partnership with global supporters, the government of Israel, and the Ethiopian Israeli community itself. Now, the Ethiopian National Project aims to prevent the creation of a black underclass in Israel by launching targeted, evaluated initiatives that enable community members to grasp their full potential. So you're definitely doing that in your work, but would you say that there's enough being done in this area to enable people from Ethiopian background to fulfill themselves in Israel?
I hope so. I mean, it's big challenge to make it work. If it's not help to many Ethiopian people, I believe it's work in some of them. I don't think there is projects that work in 100%. But if it's work even 10%, it's very important. There's a lot of challenging, because we are very, very different culture to come to in Israel. There is a lot of differences. There is a lot of problems. I think it will take time until it will be, settled. It will be kind of harmony,
But it's all going in the right direction, I think, is what you're saying. Everything.
I hope so. I hope
really
so.
worry.
I mean, there is a lot of work. There is a lot of difficulties, and I think maybe our kids or myself and other like me can make it better, in the future. Mm-hmm.
As I've shared with you, Dege, in coming to this interview, I used to be involved in modern dance, and at one stage in 1977, I shared some of my ideas with your mentor, Ruth Eschel, which is a time that I fondly remember going up to Haifa to work with her and see her perform. Now, these days, I still do Israeli dancing, which I enjoy a great deal. Now, in the vast vocabulary or lexicon of Israeli dance, and as you know, you probably know that there are almost 10,000 dances that have been created by people in Israeli dance. It's just an extraordinary number of dances, half of them being circle dances. Now, I was curious to know if there existed a single dance that could be called Ethiopian. And after some investigation, I found that there's a dance that could be called Ethiopian. I'm referring to an Israeli dance by the Israeli dance choreographer Shmulik Govari, which is titled Achenu Me Ethiopia, or it translates in English to Our Ethiopian Brothers, that he composed in the year 2000. And I'm going to play a little bit. Now, this is just one Ethiopian-related dance amongst almost 10,000 Israeli dancers. I don't know, do you have any connection or feel any connection with Israeli dance? Because Israeli dance is so much popular within Israel. If you go to Israel, you'll find so many places. Ordinary Israelis get together to dance, and this is such a way of expressing things within themselves. You've seen this dance. I sent this dance by Shmulik Govari to you to see. What do you feel any connection with the general area of Israeli dance from what you've been experiencing and what you've seen?
Actually, I hadn't a chance to be a part of the Israeli dance years. But when I was in a boarding school, we had a hug, how you call it in English? Hug record.
A dance, a dance class or dance event.
Yeah. So they used to teach us the Israeli dance. And I remember I was very happy to do it because it's, there's a lot of happiness to dance this kind of dance. It's like you are very light and you do it with people. There's a lot of beautiful things in this kind of dance. I believe in the future I would like to dance Israeli dance.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very accessible. It's something that I like the fact that it's anybody can do it, whoever they are, whatever their abilities. It's
every age you can do it. I mean, it's a happiness.
Now, if we get towards the end of the year, I want you to tell us. There's an event that happens every year in Israel, which is called the Hulageb Israeli-Ethiopian Arts Festival, and that comes up in December.
Yeah.
Now last
there
year,
is
of course.
Events. Yeah.
So if you want to explain what that is about and what and your own connection with that festival.
Yeah. There is 2 events in November and December. It's events that mark the Sigd, the Ethiopian holiday. So in these events, it's 2 of them are big festival. One, as you said, Hulageb, and the other Sigdiyada. And the Sigdiyada happens in Tel Aviv and some area from around Tel Aviv. And Hulageb happen in Jerusalem. So this is a chance to bring Ethiopian arts, music field, dance field, and fashion and a lot of things, and bring it in one stage, in one event. It's very important to reserve our culture.
If you just want to come to see something nice, crazy, and you want to take a break from your life for 1 hour, let me give you something amazing.
The dance called Ermija. Ermija in Amharic, it's a steps, and I took that and make it a little bit extreme. In this month, we have a lot of job, the Ethiopian arts. Otherwise, it's very hard, during the years to perform, because if the event related to the Ethiopian traditional, so they, invite you. But if it's not, you are kind of the last artist to invite. I hope it will change someday. So this is Hulige Ben Sigdiada. So Better Dance and myself perform every year in two event.
So back in, I think 2018, you developed a dance specifically for Hulige, which was your bug dance, wasn't it?
Yeah, I do every year premiere in Hulige with the Better Dance.
So you've got something, you're working on something already for that festival, are you?
I will start to work. I have already a piece that you saw it, but I'm going to make it longer and different, because I did it between the COVID.
You mean the piano piece? Is that the one you mean?
Yeah. So I will change it a little bit. I will work on it, with a lot of focus, and because I didn't felt that I did it in, intensive, in a right. I didn't have time for that, so I will work on it and make it longer, and I will feel more complete with this.
Well, I certainly look forward to seeing the results of your work on bringing that to its fulfillment. And it's been great talking to you today.
Thank you very much.
It was fantastic talking to you. Really, I feel like I've gone back to some of my connections with dance, reminding myself of what I've done in my past. So it's been very moving for me to be talking to somebody like yourself, who is so involved in dance in all aspects of your life. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you very much, David. I was very happy to talk with you.
በገጠርም ከተማም ሁላ የምትገኝበት ቁም ነገረኛ ለሷ ማስመስላ የምትሰራበት እና አዲሱን ገልበጣ የምታወራበት ቁኝ የቅርቡን አቅርባ የምታወጋበት